Brenda Cowan Elementary, Keeneland, and it's back to school time. All this and more on this week's edition of Lexington Now. I'm Neil Noah, and this is Lexington Now for the week of August 12, 2019. 15 years ago, Lexington's first female African-American firefighter, Lieutenant Brenda Cowan, was tragically killed in the line of duty. She has now been memorialized in the opening of the city's newest elementary school.
I just want to say thank you to everyone that is here today. We have so many community leaders and parents and families and children, and this is a really exciting day for our community. Several of you have asked me, where does this school pull from? And the reality is this school represents our community's growth. We have over 1,000 students just in the Childsburg neighborhood that are eligible for elementary school. And so this is why we have two schools so close to each other. We're not closing ACE, like some of you have asked me today, or closing other schools. This school represents the growth of our community, and our community is growing. Our children are a part of that growth. We have almost 43,000 students in the district, and this year we are going to make that transition, and we will actually be a majority minority district. So our community is changing, and it is growing, and it is exciting to see all of you here.
There's so much excitement in the air surrounding the opening of this school, and I really, truly always get excited about the beginning of school. It's a new beginning full of opportunity, full of energy, not only for the children, for the teachers, for the families, and for our community. This year is especially exciting. A new elementary school named for Brenda Cowan. I knew Brenda. I served on the council. She was a wonderful role model to everyone. The first African-American woman to serve in our fire department and the first in Kentucky. I just want to say to Fred and family, we are very proud of her. And we are so thrilled that this new school is named for her.
Brenda joined the Lexington Fire Department in January of 1992. She was the first African-American female firefighter to join our department, as well as the first African-American female to be promoted to the position of lieutenant. Only a month after her promotion, on February 13, 2004, Brenda and her crew were dispatched on an EMS run stemming from domestic violence. In our line of work, domestic violence runs can be the most unpredictable, and this one proved to be just that. At the time, we didn't have the same safeguards in place that we do today. And when the crew arrived on scene, 2 members were shot. Brenda died as a result of those injuries. Brenda was the first African-American female firefighter line of duty death in the United States. Even in death, Brenda continues to positively impact our lives because of the tragic events of that day prompted many positive changes in the firefighter safety that are still in effect today. So today, I congratulate you on opening this new school. I charge you and your staff to never grow weary in serving the families entrusted to your care, because at the end of the day, serving people is what brought Brenda most joy. So I have a photo that I'm going to present to you that you can put in the office. Thank you.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
In this episode of Marking History, we travel to Lexington's racing mecca, Keeneland.
Keeneland's historical marker is the second oldest in the state. Only the marker at Henry Clay's Ashland is older. Both reside in Fayette County. Well before this spot was a thoroughbred horse mecca, the land here was known more for a single visitor than horse racing. In 1825, some 40 years after the end of the Revolutionary War, Marquis de Lafayette, a French volunteer who served alongside George Washington as a young man, visited John Keene, Keene having been Lafayette's aide-de-camp during the war. Lafayette's war hero tour of the expanding United States lasted nearly 4 years. The Keene family had great wealth and influence in central Kentucky. Major Keene's descendant, John Oliver Keene, became a great thoroughbred breeder and trainer in the early 20th century. In 1935, after the closing of the Lexington Association racetrack, John Oliver, known as Jack, was asked about part of his land becoming a new horse racing venue. A 146-acre parcel of land was sold at a bargain to the developers, the newly formed Keeneland Association, who built new horse racing grounds. Construction was aided by the fact the land already had barns and a modest track in place. The track opened in October of 1936, hosting over 8,000 fans for its first race. The racing meets immediately became a place to gather for socializing, wagering, and much like today, just to be seen. The nonprofit Keeneland Association would build an auction arena for thoroughbreds, and over the years, the majority of the world's greatest racehorses have been bought and sold here. Keeneland solidified Lexington as the horse capital of the world. Keeneland now covers over 1,000 acres after various expansions and upgrades to the facilities during the last 80 years. Today, the venue has a seating capacity of over 20,000 for spectators. Keeneland draws people from dozens of countries during its biggest races, especially when it hosts the Breeders' Cup, the world's richest two-day championship horse racing event.
Schools will be back in session this week across the Commonwealth, and Live Green Lexington has a few tips for you for back to school.
The summer break is almost over, and Live Green Lex is offering some back-to-school tips. Tip number 1. Plastic sandwich bags are not recyclable. Pack a lunch in reusable containers, and you'll be surprised how much you cut down on plastic waste. Tip number 2. If your kids walk or bike to school, make sure they wear visible and bright clothing. Be seen. Tip number 3. The city works with Bluegrass Green Source to teach students in Fayette County about waste reduction, energy conservation, and water quality. Encourage them by asking, "What did you learn?" Tip number 4. Summer may be almost over, but kids should still have time to play outside. Take them to Raven Run or McConnell Springs for free events that encourage exploration and learning from the world around them. Be sure to follow Live Green Lex on social media and never miss out on events or volunteer opportunities.
We talk school bus safety after the break.
Geocaching is an outdoor activity. It seems simple. You use GPS coordinates to find boxes hidden in secret places around the world, but it may take some puzzle solving to get there. Think of it as an adventure in which you have the task of going out and exploring the world to find hidden treasure. Live Green Lexington has hidden 12 geocaches around the city. Each cache represents a theme about water quality. You will have the chance to learn more about stormwater, pollinator gardens, Reforest the Bluegrass, and the Citizens Environmental Academy. Each hidden cache contains a unique token that you can take and keep. Collect all 12 and you can win a prize. Ready to learn more about the ways we keep our water clean and healthy? Visit lexingtonky.gov/geocaching and start your journey.
Welcome back to Lexington Now. With all the students heading back to class, Fayette County Schools has a message about safety, especially around school buses.
If you're out driving and if you see a group of kids and then you see a school bus, you should be prepared to get ready to stop.
That's the advice Marcus Dobbs, in charge of transportation for Fayette County Schools, has for motorists, especially at the start of a new school year.
A lot of times what will happen at the beginning of the school year is oftentimes we'll get calls from parents saying, hey, you've got this bus stop here and it's making me late for work. Well, you know, when school was not in during the summer, we had no bus stops. Now the students are back out to catch the bus, and we sometimes have to suggest to people, maybe you may want to leave 5 minutes earlier so then you pass by that area and you don't end up running into the bus.
Mr. Dobbs cautions drivers to be extra careful in these areas because
there's a procedure that the drivers actually follow, and when they're approaching a stop, they'll hit a button that activates those yellow lights. When they see those yellow lights, they want to treat it, they should treat it just like you do a traffic light out. You know, when you see the traffic light change to yellow, you don't eventually say, oh, well, let me speed up. You're supposed to prepare to stop, because although we do tell our students that they should wait until the stop arm comes out, it's easier for us to train the younger students than it is the much older students, because the high school students, they start thinking, well, I know everything what's going on, and so what they'll do, as soon as that yellow light comes out, sometimes they just start walking right across the street.
he tells us that anytime you see a school bus and its flashing lights,
it's very important that whenever they see the stop arm out, that they stop, because you got to keep in mind we are always transporting most precious cargo, which is students. So whenever that stop arm is out, please wait until the students have crossed and that stop arm is back in before you proceed on.
and while it may seem straightforward what to do on a 2-lane road, rules on 4-lane or divided roads are different.
If we're traveling on Harrisburg Road, where you have 2 lanes going in one direction, 2 lanes going in the other direction, whichever direction the bus is traveling in, when that stop arm comes out, only those individuals that are traveling in the same direction of the bus has to stop in an instance, because then you've got 4 lanes, so then if you've got 2 or more lanes traveling in the same direction, only those individuals have to stop.
Mr. Dobbs has a little advice for school zones.
Naturally around schools, we have those flashing warning signs. They'll say school zone 25 miles per hour. The school zone is, speed limit is reduced in school zones, and people should just be really careful about, because students are walking along the sidewalks and they're really supposed to wait till they get to where there's a cross guard to cross at a crosswalk. But I'm sure we know students don't always do what they're supposed to do, and so sometimes they'll just run out in the middle of the street.
And although it may be tempting to try to save some time on the road, Mr. Dobbs cautions.
Please just make sure when you see that stop arm out, though, that you do stop, because what our drivers will do is, if they can grab your tag number, then we fill out a form, and unfortunately what happens is then we turn it over to the county attorney's office for prosecution. That can result in a fine and 6 points on your license if you pass a stopped school bus when that stop arm is out. So please don't pass a stopped school bus when that stop arm is out.
And students aren't the only ones coming back from summer break. Council's summer recess ends this week, and Chris Edwards is here with our televised meeting schedule. Chris?
Thanks, Dale. It's mid-August, the kids are back in school, and the council is back from their summer break with a full calendar of meetings this week. We begin with the General Government and Social Services Committee meeting on Tuesday, August 13th at 1 p.m. During this committee meeting, there will be a presentation on pay supplements for hazardous duty employees and CDL drivers. Next on Tuesday is a 3 p.m. council work session. During this meeting, there'll be a presentation on the options for the 2020 ad valorem taxes. On Wednesday, there are 3 televised meetings. First, at 9 a.m. will be the Police and Fire Pension Board meeting. At 2 p.m. will be the Courthouse Area Design Review Board meeting. Then, finally, at 6 p.m. will be the Board of Architecture Review. During this BOAR meeting, there will be a discussion and vote on the Pensacola Park H1 Overlay District. Take note, this meeting starts an hour later than the normal 5 p.m. start time. Finishing up the week, on Thursday, the Council will hold 2 confirmation hearings. At 4:45 p.m. will be the Ethics Commission confirmation hearing, followed by the confirmation hearing for Mayor Gorton's choice for the new General Services Commissioner. Stay tuned to Lex TV for these meetings and many more in the coming weeks. Neil, back to you.
Thanks, Chris. That's all for this week, and you can keep up with us on social media and check out the latest traffic updates on Twitter @LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on lexingtonky.gov. For the staff and producers at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it for now.